Welcome to It's All Black and White TV, and as you can see, I've got a special guest tonight, and that is singing sensation Junior Turner. How are you, Junior?
I'm good. Good evening. Thanks for having us on, Anne.
Yeah, that's no problem at all, mate. No worries at all. Before we get into comments, and obviously people will probably have lots of questions as well. If you like what you see, guys, then please hit the like button. It really does help the channel up the search settings and found more easily. Also, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. That is free to do so. And the bell notification, that'll tell you when I've got a pre-recorded or a live show as we are now, and any upcoming shows as well. Thank you for that, guys. So I'm going to get into some comments, see what we've got in the house here. And Geordie Boy's in, he says, looking forward to this one, Tony. If you and my mates subscribe today to help you out, thank you very much for that, and thank them as well. Enjoy the show, everyone. If you're new, please hit the subscribe and the like. It's free to do so. Yeah, thank you very much, mate. And Pablo's in. He's got a couple of questions, I think, for you, Junior. So we'll fire these ones to you straight away. Evening, Tony and Junior. What got you into singing, and what would you say is your favourite Newcastle United kit? And I have to say, United We Stand is your best song.
No, bless you. So it's kind of, I'll break these down then. So we'll go from the top. Singing. In school, I wasn't a class clown, but I was always very forthcoming, and if there was like a group thing to be done or anything, I was always the one to be at the front of the running, to be part of whatever it took. Which then led in turn, I think teachers spotted something there in any school pantos. I often got the lead roles in. And then in time, I'm not going to endorse this, but I used to avoid going into certain lessons, which was business studies and religious education, which was like my later education. I used to hate them lessons, and I used to avoid going in them. And then one of the teachers got wind of what we were doing, where we were going, where we were hiding, and Rosalind, she's friends on Facebook, believe it or not, with us now, which is mad. She came and sourced us, found us, and took us into a music room and said, look, rather than go out to school, I'll explain to the teachers that, you're not going to them lessons, I can't make you. And she took us under her wing, and she used to tell us stories about being in bands and stuff. Like she was in a band outside of school at weekends and stuff. And then just one thing led to another. And at home, my dad was a DJ in the Northeast. He had all the contracts with S&M Brews, etc., for putting discos on. So I had that side at home life of music. And my dad used to work with singers in pubs and clubs. So I was always around that from being a kid. And then, like I say, in school, Rosalind also seen something in us, and was putting us into pantos and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually what happened was karaoke came around, and my dad had bought this karaoke machine, and it was like hundreds of pounds at the time, which was like a fortune back then. And when he wasn't using it, I'm actually sitting. It's now my office. This used to be a spare room in the house. I used to get kept in here so it wouldn't get cold outside in the garage. And I used to sneak up here and set it up, and I used to sing my heart out in this room, believe it or not. So I always had that. And then when Rosalind took us into the music room to avoid his wagging lessons, we started doing things musically and stuff. And I had the music side at home and music side at school. And eventually she put us in the music in the dinner hall in front of everyone to sing in front of all my mates and everything. And, honestly, I swear to God, I've never seen as many people in my life come in this dinner hall. Like even the canteen staff, the teachers were like, "What the hell's going on?" So soon after it was arranged, believe it or not, I left school at the age of 14 with no GCSEs or nothing. I got given early leave from school officially. I wasn't like hide out of school or anything. I undertook singing. I went into pubs and clubs from 14, lied about my age, said I was 18. That's how it started. And the first gig I ever done was with my dad, and the singer that was on with him at the disco became unwell, and I had a cassette. That's how far we're talking back now. I had a cassette pocket that I'd made in this room. I taped some tracks off the karaoke CDs on a cassette, and the singer became unwell, and I was like, "Oh, can I get up and sing?" And my dad was like, we're totally unaware that I was even intending to do what I was doing. And said, I go on then, but if you make a total tit of yourself here, then there's no, like, this is like a pub. People are drunk, they're going to be dead honest with you if you're crap. Like, so I got up and sang. And because my dad's called Dave and my real name's Dave, then everyone started chanting Junior. And that's where the name come from, and that's where it all began. So that answers your first question.
Wow.
Newcastle favourite kit? Asics, Blue Star, all day long.
Yeah.
Got to be either that or the grander colour. The Shearer, when Shearer signed, 96, 95,
96, yeah. Adidas, yeah.
Grander colour. So I'm split on them two. And United We Stand. Yes, United We Stand. It's a funny one that because not many people are actually aware of that song, or some are, some aren't. It actually came before Banks of the River Time, 2015. I'm going to go back to. It came on the first anniversary of Liam Sweeney and John Alder in MH17.
Oh yeah.
I had written a song and released it for a mate of mine who was on top of the Tyne Bridge, protesting for children's rights in family courts, Simon, and it was in the Chronicle about the song that I brought out, and it was like on Facebook, and that was doing the rounds and stuff, and it got through to Barry Sweeney, Liam's dad, and I got a phone call on the day of the first anniversary of MH17, and this guy says, "Oh, I've heard this song that you've brought out about the bridge, and I would like you to do a song in memory of it." And I was like, "Look, mate, like I've wrote this song because to be mate, I don't just write songs willy-nilly about people." And to be honest,
Yeah.
I was a little bit abrupt, to be honest, looking back. And I said, I don't write songs just about people, and I didn't. To put it frankly, like unless I know someone, I can't really go write a song. And plus, if I had wrote a song off my own back and just brought it out, people would be like, "Oh, look at him cashing in on a tragedy." That's how I was thinking at the time.
Yeah.
And then before I could go any further, he said, "Actually, I'll stop you there. I'm actually Liam's dad." And that just changed everything because then it was the family asking us to do it. And as a Newcastle fan, like we'd all been affected by what had happened on that flight, obviously losing 2 supporters, etc. And so I brought out a song. It was funny. I got the phone call on the anniversary. I wrote the song the next day. I recorded it the following day, and I released it 5 days after. It was the quickest song I've ever written, recorded, and released. So that was like my first association with Newcastle United, despite everyone like obviously recognising Banks of the River Tyne and the success that's had. United We Stand actually came before that.
Wow, brilliant. I mean, yeah, absolutely fantastic that is, isn't it? I mean, I mean, it's what we used to do as youngsters, if we wanted to do something, we used to sneak stuff around. Like you used to see you sneak the karaoke and get yourself set up and have a sing song, and and that's how things like this start as well. So absolutely brilliant. And I mean, you probably laugh about it now, looking back.
Of course I do, but like I get many people now reaching out to us, and saying, like, "Oh, my daughter can sing," or "My granddaughter can sing," and like they're sending us videos or of kids and stuff saying, like, "Listen to her, what do you think?" and stuff. The one thing I always say is like I was never ever pushed into doing what I do, like from a young age, and I believe that in any walk of life, whether your kid wants to play football, whether they want to be a painter, whatever they want to do in life, never ever push kids, because all you'll do is you'll just make them fall out of love for whatever they're doing. Let it happen naturally. Let them find their own path. Encourage them, but don't. I know parents are really like eager to see the kids do something with their life, which is great to see. But at the same time, there's a fine line between encouragement and pushing them too soon. And that's something I never had, and I was very. I was always encouraged, but I was never ever forced into something I didn't want to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's better if it comes naturally as well. And if you don't push them, that they're not going to just rebel against it. At least encouraging them, like you say, is the right way to go about it. And
yeah, well, it's lasted because in September just gone. I actually celebrated 25 years performing in pubs and clubs. We had an actual, we had an event. We put on a show, and it was lovely because I had people coming from like when I started singing in Rosalind, the teacher I mentioned, Selwyn, another one of my music teachers from school, who was part of like getting us on stage and guiding us. My first ever agent that I had, Dave Scully, who was an amazing guy with us when I was starting out as a kid. He used to actually like drive around in his car and take us to like auditions and open doors for us. And because obviously my age was always against us being 14, and people that found out that were like, oh, you know, it's a young thing, it'll fade, it'll go away. But here I am 25 years later, still going strong, still doing pubs and clubs. It's who I am, it's where I come from, it's my bread and butter. And writing songs and trying to make as much of life as I can with what I've got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, you've that's it. That's all about what it is. You've just got to make the best of your life, haven't you? You know, and have fun along the way. Absolutely. And I mean, the thing is, you have fun there, and you're entertaining people in pubs and clubs who are enjoying it, and you're getting the enjoyment from it as well because you know you're putting smiles on people's faces, and that's the most important part about it.
Oh man, as long as people go home happy at the end of the night, I've done my job.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if we've got any more in chat for you. Ches says, hi all, here Tony. Hi Ches, hope you're well, mate. He's from South Africa. Paul, very good evening everyone in chat on screen. Very good evening to you, Paul, as well. Hope you're well. Pete Proudlock. Evening guys, apparently Bruno returned back to training as well. Excellent news. Yeah, I think they were just giving a little bit of a rest. I like coffee. Hi, Tony, Junior, Turner, and all. Hi, Coffee. Hope you're well. People are talking to each other. Mason, evening, everyone. Evening, Mason. Hope you're well. And Sefton Mag, who we were talking about backstage before. Evening, all. I made it. Hi, all. And Tony, and the legend, JT.
Evening, Sefton. Nice one. Cheers, man.
Yeah, one of your biggest fans he is.
Seems so.
Yeah. Gary says, good evening, lads. Evening, Gary. Hope you're well as well, mate. Wayne. Hello, Tony and Junior. Hello, Wayne.
Hi,
hope you're well. Hope you're fine. Sefton's got a question for you, Junior. He says, will you be doing an album in the future?
Yeah, I've got two out as it is. They're not football related or local songs. I brought an album out in 2010. Like I say, you know, like I explained in that last question, I've obviously been singing since 14. With 2010, I'll actually go back further. I'll go back to the year 2000. I think if I do it that way, then it's easier to follow. When I was 16, 17, I got the chance to go and work in Benidorm for 9 months. And live there to work, etc. And just before I went, I was my dad had a history of blood clots. He used to have blood clot after blood clot, and they could never ever find out why. It started after they thought he was hit with a squash ball, playing squash, and they found out actually he had a hereditary blood clotting disorder, where his blood naturally wants to clot, which is like the opposite to a haemophiliac, how they bleed. It's like the opposite. And they said, obviously, with it being hereditary, they wanted to test me for it. So I got tested prior to going away for this 9 months, and I got found to have the same disorder. Obviously, flights and blood clots, and it you know, there's like a little link there. And said, no, fine, get yourself away. You're only 17, 1 in a million chance it'll ever happen. When you get older, which is why it's now affecting your dad because he's getting older, we'll kind of monitor you more closely as you go along. But I was in Benidorm like 4 weeks, and I took bad. And obviously, I wasn't working. I didn't have any money coming in. I was paying for medical care, being abroad at the time. So I came home on a return ticket that I had, and I'd agreed like I'd come home, get myself sorted, and go back out and start again. I was home a matter of weeks, and I collapsed, and I got rushed into the Freeman Hospital. I was in intensive care, and I was in there fighting for my life. I had multiple blood clots. I had 17 blood clots in my left leg, one in my groin, one in my spine, one in my left lung, and pneumonia of both lungs caused by the flight.
God.
And the specialist that I'd seen prior to going had came into the room and I'd said, like, everything you've said's just been totally unwritten. I've just rewrote the books for you, really. And he said, well, I did say 1 in a million chance. So that was his kind of get out of jail card. The fact that he said 1 in a million. So I had to, I was in a coma and everything. I was fighting for my life. I was given 48 hours to live. And then I came around and I was given 48 hours to walk again. Because the clots had like done that much damage to my left leg. I'm still touch wood, I've still got the left leg, but they've said even at that age, like eventually I would have to be amputated because of the damage done. So like now I suffer with like the aftermath of what happened back then, and so I eventually got out of hospital some 6-7 weeks later, and believe it or not, I got it on the Friday, and on the Sunday I was on stage in Silksworth Club in Sunderland on crutches, mad. But then the smoking and stuff in clubs, because I'd had the clot in the lung, I was left with 30% capacity in my left lung. So I was unable to continue, and I actually had to leave singing for a little while. So then in 2010, the smoking ban come in, and BBC Radio Newcastle got in touch with us to ask us to do an interview about me being affected by the smoke and how it would help me. Maybe I could get back into pubs and clubs now that the smoking ban came in. So I went and done this radio interview, and anyhow, when I was there, they were talking about the one looking for the divided Britain into England into 4 quarters: northeast, northwest, south, and southwest. And they were looking for local artists to put a song forward for children in need. And it was like a little competition thing. They were running like a local competition kind of X Factor thing, but not as big as that, It's just like on the radio. And I recorded the cover of The Impossible Dream. And it actually went on to win this competition. And it got released. And we were given recording studio time as part of the deal to record the song. And I pretty much recorded it straight away, like nailed it more or less there, and then in 1 or 2 takes. And the rest of the time I'd written some songs, and I got the chance to also record like some demos. And when we were getting, because it was getting national airplay and stuff, it actually got played like on BBC One. The video and everything with Pudsey. I made a video with Pudsey, and like the video got aired and all that. So the chances that I got, I actually handed out like these demo CDs as well and said, by the way, like if there's any other songs, while I've got the door open to something I'll probably never get the chance to do again. And sure enough, in time, I had contact from different people in the music industry, and I went on and I wrote an album called Under Scrutiny. Was the first album, and I got well in total now, I've got 9 state chart radio #1s in America, where there's like Texas and stuff. They've got like little music charts in different parts of America and stuff. I've been #1 in 9 of them. I've won multiple awards in America for songwriting and everything, because what happened is one of the songs, we did a video and it was a cartoon, and Barack Obama had just been appointed president, and one of the cartoon characters in the video was Barack Obama, and one of his family or daughter or something like that, I can't remember what it was at the time, had took a screenshot of this video and put it like on Instagram or something, and then in America it went viral, the song. And it kind of opened the door to like the American unsigned music scene for us. And I released a second album not that long ago, about 5-6 years ago, called Direction. And again, like in America, it went berserk. I won Indie Music Channel Award, which was like held at some it's at the Grammy Hall of Fame in like Hollywood. But like because of my blood clot and carry on and the damage done, I'm unable to travel, so I've never actually been able to go to America and collect these awards, although I've got them, like they've been shipped to us. And I've had to like do videos to send, like an acceptance speech and stuff like that. So I've got 2 albums out as it is, and I've done all that. So basically, in terms of like, because of what's happened to my life with my health, I'm really lucky that like I've been able to do what I've done thanks to the power of the internet. And the chances I've had along the way, given again what's happened with my health and stuff, I should never really had them chances. but I've took them with both hands because of what happened. And when lockdown came about, I was pretty much done. I'd made my mind up and said, like, I'm happy now. Just I've got a great CV behind us. I'm happy just to earn a nice living. Working around the doors. If holiday camps come up and that like to do, then that'll be a nice little added bonus. But I'm done. And then during lockdown, we were going fishing, and with my best mate Chris, and Chris was hounding us to write another song. Like, oh, come on, man, that was the perfect time. And I was like, no, I'm done. There's got to be something left. There's got to be something left you haven't done. I said, you know of anything? I said, I would love to write like a local song, and like if I do it though, it's got to be like a song that's going to be around for forever, because to do a local song and live where I live and go out and perform around the doors, if I get this wrong and this song's crap, then I'm never going to hear the last of it. And I'm a Newcastle season ticket holder, and I'm a Newcastle supporter. This is going to like probably be the hardest song I'll ever write, because if I get it wrong, like there's no forgiving. So there's no like middle ground. I don't think. I think you either get it right or you get it badly wrong. And I've seen some songs being done and I've cringed at them. You know what I mean? As a supporter, you watch them and go, "Oh my god!" So Banks of the River Tyne was born, and well, since then there's been no looking back. And basically, it's led us to think album number 3, which is what Sefton's asking about, really, is a case of do I pen a local album and make 10, 15 songs about the area, or do I go back to what I know and doing pop, indie, unsigned music? So there will be an album, but at the minute it's just a case of, I think, if I'm really honest and open with myself, then because I've wrote Banks of the River Tyne and the success it's had, I'm scared that anything else I do is going to be compared to it. You know what I mean? You've kind of struck gold. So, like, do I really want to continue to bring more music out that people are going to say, well, that's crap compared to Banks of the River? So is it a case that I've ticked that box now and that's done? So that's where I'm at currently. So actually, Sefton, you've hit the nail on the head, because this last couple of weeks, it's actually been something I've been pondering. Cheers for
that. Yeah, brilliant. No, that's brilliant. I mean, absolutely fantastic. Breaking like that in America, I mean, that's just massive, isn't it? So,
it's something I pinched myself. The same, like I said, before we came on air, the night when we were talking, like Banks of the River Tyne, I never ever dreamt. I'm sitting here like 18 months later, and it's still getting played at the ground. People are still talking about it. People still stop us in the street. I go to gigs. Like, it's one of the first songs people come up and say, "Wow, are you doing the Banks song?" And yeah, I am, yeah. And it's just amazing. I walk around, I see people wearing. I mean, we've got T-shirts out, we've got Christmas cards. Bloody hell, there's been like loads of merchandise sold, and you walk around and you see it, and people send us photos. Like, someone's just been on holiday to California last week, and they're walking along the beach, and someone's got a Banks of the River Tyne T-shirt on. I'm like, that's just madness.
Yeah, it's brilliant though. That's the power of it, and that's what that song does. I mean, Geordie Boy there, Banks of the River Tyne's a class song. Well done. Matt, who's in Australia. He's in Australia, Matt, and he said it's morning where he is. Hello, Tony Jr. and Chattas. Hello, Matt. I hope you're well. Mason, really love the Banks of the River Tyne. So that's where we're going to come to now. Now, Junior was going to do it live for us tonight, but unfortunately, because his system's doing a major update, he's unable to gather his stuff together to do it.
Yeah,
but we are going to play. But we are going to play the song for you now, guys and girls in the chat. So we'll get that up in one moment, and then you can sit back for a few minutes, enjoy this great tune, right, guys? So here we go. There we go, guys. That was Banks of the River Tyne. I mean, that's a fantastic song. And I mean, everything in it is just so true. Yeah, it's a great song. I mean, I love it. I mean, went a couple of times there I think, because down here where I am, I'm in Suffolk, you see. I mean, I've lived down here 10 years now. And I think because we got like -6 outside, I think probably the weather's playing havoc with the broadband as well. But yeah,
Hamster.
no, it's a fantastic song.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like I was saying, before we came on, it's crazy because I live in Wallsend, and literally I'm a stone's throw from Swan Hunters. I'm a stone's throw from the G Pit, which is the Rising Sun, which was one of the main coal mines for the northeast. And then literally, as I look out to the left, out the window, if St James's is lit up of a night time with the yellow lights on the pitch. And it's mad because that song encapsulates like pretty much everything that's the northeast. And I was brought up with like my dad and my granddad and stuff both served down the yards, and like it's always been drilled into us. My heritage, it's always been drilled into us, like where I come from. Never forget your roots and all that kind of stuff. And I never do, and I'm really, really proud. My job, I travel far and wide, obviously performing to different people and stuff. And 9 times out of 10, when you mention the Northeast or you mention Wallsend, people kind of cower a little bit. Oh, it's a bit rough. Well, I'm not being funny. In modern day society, you can't tell me one place in this country that doesn't have a rough spot, because it's common everywhere now. But what I always tend to say is what people forget, and some people in the Northeast, like, are easy to forget, when it comes to defend and where we come from. We've got the shipbuilding. We built some of the biggest and finest ships ever in Swan Hunters, and they floated out of the time. Coal mining, we were, an imperative part of that industry. The coal mining here in the Northeast was massive. You've got the Romans even settled here, in Wallsend. I make a joke of that the Romans sat down, had a Kit Kat, and didn't go back to graft. So, and then if you move forward over the times again, you've got Wallsend Boys Club. I mean, I literally live a few hundred yards from the original site. It's literally at the bottom of my street. And the footballers that it's created, like our heritage and what we've brought, not Wallsend as such, but the Northeast, what we've offered in terms of output to others, and what we stand for is quite amazing. And people are soon to forget that, but we never ever should forget that, because it's something to be really proud of. And it's true. I mean, it's been proven just during lockdown and stuff. You've got a Tory government there, and where they've forgotten a lot, when it comes to being in the Northeast. But that's why the Northeast people are the best people on the planet, and I don't say that in a joking manner. We have to fight and live for everything that we've got, and I don't think there's many people would be able to do that elsewhere in the country, And I'm really, honestly, I'm sincerely proud to be a Geordie, and I'm proud of where I come from.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every time I come back, if I come back to visit family, my daughters, or I go to the match, I always say I'm going home, because it's home to me still.
Well,
I
that's
know
why
I
the
live
song,
down here in Suffolk, but I still go home technically.
the song that was what the song had to encapsulate, because I wanted to write like a full circle as such from my perspective, so that it resonated with expats, it resonated with people coming back, it resonated with people who are here. I wanted it to have like an open book, so that each and every person that listened to it, that had any affiliation with the area, would relate to it. And I certainly think, given the feedback that I've had, that it's done that. But it's not my song. I say this when I perform it. It's not my song. It's our song. Because I'm just one of many people that come from this area, whether I'm here or away, and I just wanted to become like people took around the word anthem, and that I'm not comfortable with that. It's not an anthem. I want it to become like part of folklore, I suppose, if that's the better word. I want it to be a case where in 20, 25 years' time, and I'm retired, and I go into a bar in the Haymarket on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday for a pint, and it just comes on, and it's still getting played. That's what I want. That's the dream, for me, would be to still have that song around even when I'm gone. So it's lasted nearly 2 years, and people still speak well of it and it's still doing its job, then, like I said to you before I come on, if it ended tomorrow, I couldn't be happier with the success and what it's given back to us. I'm very, very fortunate.
It's it's one of those songs I don't think would ever fade out. It'll always be there. You know, I mean, you hear music today, but the songs from 50 years ago still being played now. But some
Yeah.
songs today that are played, will they still be played in 50 years? I doubt it very much.
No. I think like in terms of music, getting away from the northeast now for a second, it's quite funny because like I say, my dad was a DJ and stuff, so I've been brought up around. Like if I showed you my Spotify playlist, you would be like, "What the hell?" I've got stuff from opera to rock to pop to rock and roll. I've been brought up on all genres of music, but I can't foresee kids of today in 30, 40, 50 years' time sitting with their grandkids playing them like Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent and saying, like this was the music of my era. It just doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not the same, when you listen to like Elvis Presley and stuff like that, or you listen to the likes of bloody, I don't know, Santana, on guitar and the great, amazing musicians, amazing voices. And now music, literally, you could fall down the stairs with a guitar and write a One Direction song.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true indeed. I've got another question from Sefton for you. He says, some people like me who can't sing and would love to go Christmas on board.
Go and sing. Simple as that. Like if singing isn't about being good or bad, and again, it's tough for me, because I'll go out with my mates and you walk into a bar and there's a karaoke on or a singer on, and it's always the common thing that they turn and say, "What do you think of him?" Well, I'll never ever say it different, whether you meet us in person or whatever. I'll always tell you the same line. If you've got the balls to get up on that stage in front of a public audience, you've got my respect, good, bad, or indifferent. And for me, singing's about enjoying yourself. Singing, like you touched on earlier, for me, I feel better in myself picking up my wage packet, knowing that people have went home happy at the end of the night. That's better to me than a pay packet. And you say, oh, you're full of shit. You earn good money or whatever. Irrespective, at the end of the day, the top and bottom of it is for me is I want to see people go home happy. They've paid to come and see a show. That's what they deserve, is a show. So for me, it in terms of singing, it's about you enjoying yourself. If you enjoy yourself, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are. Like I said, it's indifferent to me. If you want to go and sing, go and sing. No, people often asking about, can you teach us to sing? And that, not really. People can't teach you to sing. What you learn is you learn breathing methods and vocal warm up, so you don't strain your vocal cords. They don't actually teach you to sing. As such, I think if you can sing, you can sing. I think it's in you. I've never been trained to sing. I just sang, and with years and whatever that's went with it, I am where I am, and I sing like I sing. But besides that, like when people talk about vocal coaching and that, I don't believe in it. I think it's there for the better in terms of, it's like a football player, isn't it? The football player, when they go out before the game, they warm up. That doesn't impact on how good they are. If they've got a gift in playing football, they've got a gift. The rest of it's just exercise, and it's pretty much the same when it comes to singing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't sing, to be fair, but I mean, like Sefton asking that question. I mean, I stood up in a caravan park in a entertainment complex and got on the karaoke and sang in front of about 200 or 300 people, and that's nerve wracking in itself, especially when you can't sing. And singing someone like Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk, but coming as a runner up, and I'm thinking, wow, how did I do that? Because I can't sing. But it was just for a laugh.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
that's all about.
I just went up for the laugh.
There you go. As long as you enjoy yourself, to me that's like I've said, that's as rewarding to me as it is getting paid. So, Sefton, if you want to sing, mate, go and sing. If someone looks at you at the end of the day, if they haven't got the balls to do it or follow you, then they can't really say no. So go and do it, mate. Go and do it and enjoy it. Always enjoy it.
There you go, Sefton. Words of advice. Jody Boy says, proper proud Jody is junior. Yep, he is, absolutely. Paul saying, anyone got a power cut? I ain't got a power cut, mate. But you're different part of the
50 pence for the
country.
meter.
Yeah, stick your money in the meter. Jody says, I had that top with Cole on the back, wicket top, and the blue away one as well. Yeah, absolutely. We all remember Alex Matthews scoring in that blue one, don't we?
Sheffield Wednesday 4-2 at home on it. I remember that.
Yeah, it was a thunderbolt of a shot, wasn't it? Volley outside the box. It was a hell of a goal. Jody Boy says, rest in peace, Liam and John. Yeah, absolutely. They're never forgotten, those two guys.
God bless them both.
You know, such a tragedy for them going on their way to New Zealand for a friendly, and, you know, you shouldn't have to go to a match and not return, and it's just so sad.
No,
And it
definitely.
still hits us now.
I feel that they've just had a court settlement in terms of who did what. But I don't think it came to final closure in terms of punishment being served, because there was technicalities, and with the ongoing situation in Ukraine and stuff, one of the named people couldn't be located. But I suppose in the circumstances, they can kind of take closure in that they've found a reason for what happened. But no, it's wrong. Every football game supporter should be going and coming home safely. So it was a massive tragedy, and it was sad to see, and it's still sad now, because I still see. I'm in touch with the family, and I'm friends with the family on social media, and it's still ongoing for them in terms of the loss, and I don't think it'll ever go away, which is it's sad, but I hope they find a little bit of comfort in like I say, in the recent court hearing. It's all that can really happen, isn't it? Nothing's going to bring them back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just tragic when that happened. Chipper says, evening all, evening to you, Chippers. Paul says, sure was shared everywhere. Thanks very much for that, Paul. And then we've got, I share each show as I'm in the chat, says Paul. Thanks very much, mate. Top man, top man. Geordie Boy says, I think you could making songs about the area and your stuff as with life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever. I think the first album Under Scrutiny, I was going through some personal stuff with me, with a relationship that had broken down and involving. I've got two sons, and I was going through all of the family courts and stuff. And to be honest, I think the first album Under Scrutiny was a bit self-indulgent. When I look at it now, it was pretty much just like a diary of what was going on. One or two songs people can relate to. So I've always been one. Normally, when I write songs, I write them in a way that it's not a he or a she or a name in a song, so that the listener can then adapt the song to whatever they're going through or whoever it is that they think it relates to. So, like, if you kind of leave an open book, then it'll resonate with a lot more people than if you actually narrow it down. And yeah. I think the second album, Direction, certainly did that. But life goes on every day. And every day you can sit in a pub or a restaurant and you can overhear a conversation or something interesting being said. And I'm one of them people that kind of writes it down on my phone, because there's always a song somewhere to be written. Whenever I hear or read a book and I see something like a passage or a line, a one-liner, and I think, that will make for a good song. So never say never, because again, Sefton mentioned an album, and again, it's just a case of where do I go next? Do I stay with the local thing, or do I go back to what I did prior, or do I combine both? But it's something that I'm certainly thinking about.
Yeah, you could probably combine both, to be fair. I mean, one thing I do want to ask you, Junior, is I don't know if maybe they've already been in touch, but I mean, if the owners of Newcastle, or have you been in touch with maybe the owners of Newcastle about maybe one day before a game, singing the banks of the River Tyne on the centre of the pitch?
Tony, I would love nothing more. And if my dad or Amanda are watching or get wind of it, I have exhausted every avenue when it comes to promotion of this song. I've put it in every window and every door that I think would, make the song get the song out there. But I've never ventured down that one path of to trying to find Amanda's door. Although I would love to find that path or someone that could make that happen. Because I seen another podcast last week following the ladies' game. It's at James's Park against Barnsley, and Amanda Staveley had contact from a girl band, a local. I think it's actually not a girl band. I think it's 3 or 4 girls and 1 guy, and they had written a song. How we the last. They got to actually go on the pitch at half time at the ladies' game, and they performed it on the pitch. So either getting the song to Amanda and my dad would be a huge added bonus for us to see what their reaction is, and I'm sure if they liked it, then they would utilise it in any such way they seen fit. So whether that's to perform it on the pitch, whether they want to use it on a promotional video for the website or whatever, they've got my blessing. So that's certainly something. If anyone would have any such ways of doing that or making it easier to fulfil that, then definitely it's something I would love to do. And probably that will be another box tick that at the minute I haven't actually got on the list.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fantastic if you came on the pitch before the game started, say maybe against Liverpool or Man United, before a nice big game like that, and sang that out before the players even come out of the tunnel and everything. I mean, that would be fantastic. And that would just whip the atmosphere up even more as well, because everybody hearing the banks of the River Tyne, and then after you've done that, then the players come out to their that'd be fantastic. The club need to get you there, Junior, and definitely.
You see, now you've started the process, Tony. You see, because now in my head I'm thinking a cup game against the Mackhams and singing it before kick-off. That would be the dream of that one. I won't say a league game because I'm quite happy watching Netflix every season when they fail. So there we go. I'll leave that at that because I've still got to work. I've still got to work down south. I'm not saying anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of people in the chat. We'll try and get this to happen, Junior, because we would love it to happen. It would be absolutely fantastic.
I would love it. Like
especially if it's more of a Sky game as well, because
you never know.
It might even get coverage on there.
Yeah, I've tweeted my dad. I've tweeted Jamie Rubin, and I suppose they get a 1,000,001 tweets a day. You've just got to be that lucky person that tweets them when they're sitting on a train or a plane looking at the phone. Unfortunately for me, that hasn't happened yet. So, but it's something that I would love to certainly make happen. So, whether it be me that does it or someone else, then please feel free to help in any which way that you can. It would mean a lot to us.
Yeah, I mean, never say never. That's for sure.
Never ever say never. I've learned that in life.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I Like Coffee says, I picked up my guitar to learn during lockdown 2 years ago. I'll be playing it for carol singing for the first time this weekend around my town. I still struggle with key changes, but I'll get there. Yeah, it just takes time, doesn't it?
Got my respect because I can't play any instrument at all. The only instrument I've got is a voice and the one that's in my head that I hear medleys, like melodies to songs. And I'm very fortunate that the recording studio I use called Broadwater in Gateshead, all the guys there are very musically able in terms of playing. And I'm able to put my thoughts into their brains and then they make it a reality. So fair play to you. If you can play guitar, you've got my respect. Well done, bud. Enjoy it again. Always enjoy it.
There you go for that, Coffee. Paul says, Junior, that is becoming an artist of Banks of the River Tyne. Awesome, but you've got others. Share them. It's a gift to the people. Absolutely.
Never say never. Thanks, Paul. I certainly will in due course. So if you're on YouTube, go on my channel, Junior Turner, hit the subscribe button, and the same for Tony's as well if you haven't already done it. And any new music
thanks,
that I
mate.
do, any new music I do, or all my previous music that we've discussed, the albums, etc., everything's there to be listened to. So if you've got 5 minutes, then please hit the subscribe button.
There you go, guys. Give Junior a sub. Absolutely brilliant guy. Jody Boy says, I love this song. He said that was a bit jumpy. Yeah, that was because of, like I was saying about the internet, I think because of the cold weather, it affects everything, doesn't it? This cold weather, it's been horrendous. It was at -10 this morning, believe it or not.
Wow.
Sefton says, my claim to fame is I have Junior Turner signed CD cover.
Bless you, mate.
Nice
Thank
one,
you
Sefton.
for that.
Excellent,
Thanks,
mate.
Thank you, man.
Jody B says, probs YouTube playing up. Yeah, could be that as well, yeah. Ali Coffee says, I love the drone footages of the city and the stadium.
Yeah, it's I didn't realise the technicalities and all the stuff that actually goes into drones and that now with legalities. Certain things we could do, and there was other things we wanted to do and you couldn't do, and it's all like grey areas now with drones. But the footage that we're ending up getting is second to none. I'm very, very happy with it. The only thing is, I'll actually note this, right, and I hope that this like gets picked up along the way. A number of people come up with or on online and say, "Oh, great song," but the video you've got Sports Direct in St James's Park. Well, the thing is, I can't go back and change that. I had the opportunity to go to St James's Park and shoot that video via Neil Stoker, who's actually the kit man for Newcastle. He's a really good friend. He arranged to get way into the ground, and we had like the ground for like a few hours to shoot the video, etc. at the time. So if I go back now and shoot that video again and change them parts, then I would have to take that video off YouTube, and I've got like nearly 90,000 views on it. I would lose all them views. So I'm not going to go and lose all them views and all them hours because like I'm really close to getting my channel like monetized. So no, I'm not doing it. Just enjoy the song for what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Just forget about the Sports Direct signs in the background. Yeah.
And if you go and actually check the channel, if you go and check my channel, at the minute there's actually a new remix of the song come out. It gets played in the town by it's in the what do you call them, on the Old George, you know, the courtyard in the big market.
Oh yes, yeah.
On a match day, and the DJ there has actually done a remix. DJ Drama is called, and he's done a remix of Banks of the River Tyne. It's like a bit more catchy. It's like a bit more kind of like poppy, and it's got like a bit more of a beat to it. And there is a new video. There's what we've done like a takeover video with Amanda Staveley and all the new players coming in, and so there is a new video for that version. So if you're simply watching it for the video purpose, then go and watch that video. But I love the original. I know Sefton, we discussed this as well earlier. Sefton used the acoustic version on his website. So there's a few different versions. So you might go and change your mind once you've listened to one of the other versions of the Banks of the River Tyne.
Yeah, absolutely. Sefton says Lindisfarne signed album as well. And he says, brilliant voice.
Yeah.
And he's asking, how long did it take to shoot the video?
2 days, long days, early morning starts, and long days moving from location to location, and having the awkward part was the quayside when we did the shots of the bridge, because it was like we had like a Bluetooth speaker behind, we're playing the song so you can lip sync to the song. So like obviously when you come and put the footage to the music, it's in time. So you've got like this song playing, but the speaker's like about 5 yards, 6 yards behind you, and you're stood at the railings looking at the bridge or looking away from the bridge singing, and people are like walking past like, what is going on? And people will keep stopping. So would that like then spoil the shot? Do you know what I mean? Because you're trying to sing it, and like you'd have like some old bloke stood behind you just staring at you like, and then like, and the funniest part was what came up, right? And I think it happened in 2 locations on the day. Someone went up and went, so is this Vera? Is this something to do with Vera? And I was like, Aye, something to do with you, aye. But no, it was a great couple of days shooting the video, and then we end up in the Lowlights Tavern on the quayside, on the Fish Quay, which is one of Sam Fender's local haunts. And that's at the end of the video. There's a shot of a bottle of brown ale, and that brown ale was actually on the in the snug at the Lowlights, because the Lowlights Tavern is for me is like a real Geordie kind of bar. We were going to go to the Strawberry, but there was just that many locations on the list that we had to cover in terms of like for the song, because we wanted to. And then you had like the debate of, do we put the Angel of the North in, do we not? Because some people say it's like on the wrong side of the water, and but I think we've got the video right. And again, the sports directing, I can't change. If I could change it, I would change it. But too much work and too much lost progress would be the result.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a great video. I mean, absolutely fantastic video.
But actually the acoustic version, so the acoustic version, which is actually just all me sitting in a room, that's actually the Lowlights Tavern itself. So we did the acoustic version there. We shot the video for that. And true story, we were shooting the video in the there's like a room with like an old fire, and we're shooting the video, and they had a sign on the door saying that the room was being used, and this person kept looking in the door. It was like a glass door, and they kept looking, and like after a while, it was like, I think they must want in the room. So while they were sorting the cameras out, that I got up and went and opened the door to see who this person was, and it was Sam Fender, and he was like,
wow.
"Oh, aye." He just came back off tour, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, I've just come back off. He'd been to Glasgow or something." And he says, I've just popped my head in because you're I didn't know what was going on and stuff." And he came in and he listened to the song, and he really loved it, and he got us to send him it because he was on his way to he was going back on tour, and he took the song with him because he apparently on his tour bus, when he's heading home, he's there's the actual photo there.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
So he took the video with him. He took the song, sorry. He got us to send it on Instagram to him, and he on his bus coming home, he has like local music playing. So he said, "Will he send us a song?" And he loved the song. So that was quite a surreal moment when we did the second video for the acoustic version. Sam Fender was there, which was pretty cool.
Hey, that's excellent, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic, that. Pablo says, where do you think we'll finish this season?
Right. I've been talking the last couple of days to a few of my mates that the World Cup's over. I didn't, you know what it is to me, right? Newcastle's made such progress this season. The World Cup didn't really bother me, like, to be honest. I know it sounds wrong and not very patriotic, but like, I'm more of a club football man than myself. England's never really been my kind of thing. It's good when the Euros is on and, you know, we're doing well and the country's behind it and there's a great buzzing. But the same thing's going on in Newcastle, and it's so much better when it's your own club. So for the World Cup to come along when it did, I hope it never happens again, because Newcastle's progress was like, we're flying. That said, I think we're very fortunate as a club that a lot of our players haven't been played, like a lot. Bruno's been rested, Trippier's been rested, Wilson, Pope. So really, and they've been training. So I don't see a real reason why they need to come back and be rested or anything. Because they've been training. It's not as though they've been sitting like a pre-season. So there's no reason they can't come back and just pick up where they left off. That being said, though, I noticed I've been watching some of the training videos that Newcastle have been putting out while they've been abroad and stuff. And I've seen that Isak was playing table tennis and stuff with Matt Ritchie, but then the main sessions thereafter, he wasn't actually part of it. So that says to me like he's still some way off actually being match fit. I don't know whether or not he might be on the bench on Saturday coming at the friendly or whatever, but I don't think he will. And then on the back of that, Wilson has picked up a knock or two whilst away with England. There was reported injuries there and stuff, and obviously his history of injuries would lead me to think that if I was Newcastle's owners, I'll be looking to sign someone in January. And the reason I say that is not only in one position, I would maybe be looking at 2 definite, 3 maybe, just to push on where we are. And if we do make them 2 or 3 signings, then I don't see why anything from 5th, 6th, anywhere from there, anything below 7th for me this season would be a failure, given where we are and how we're playing. So I think if we're talking like another striker to come in, definitely another striker, because like I say, we're Wilson and Isak and Chris Wood. No disrespect to the lad, but he's just not. He's not a number 9. He's not a number 10. He's very much just there. You know what I mean? He just fills a hole. And I personally think Chris Wood was brought in last season when we were chasing relegation, both the week in Burnley from that side of things, but also St. Maximin didn't really track back last season. And I don't know, I'm a bit of a geek like stuff like this, where like the heat trails and stuff on players, you can like find them online and that. If you watch Chris Wood covered a lot of the left side defensively, going back over, which makes us think: did he come in to cover the ground that St. Maximin doesn't like to track back? Do you know what I mean? So it was like he did the job that St. Maximin wouldn't. So for me, I would definitely be bringing in another striker. I don't know who that would be. Someone that's going to get you goals, someone that's proven in the Premier League. I've mentioned Danny Ings, believe it or not, in conversations. I just think he's a proven player who will get you goals. And if you're prepared to play Chris Wood, then certainly Danny Ings is a better option of the two. James Maddison is a definite for me. Where he fits in, I don't know. I don't think he's an out-and-out striker. He's pretty much a number 10, a number 8, like in behind the front two. And then Jack Harrison, I see he's been mentioned again from Leeds. I don't think he's had the same form he did last season, mind. So for me, I don't know whether or not I'll be looking to bring him in. But like I say, I definitely need to make 2 signings in January to push on from where we are, mainly to cover for the front two, because I don't think we've got a fit striker amongst the 2 we've got. And maybe it's just another creative player, i.e. James Maddison, would certainly be the deal for me. And I think thereafter, I don't see why Newcastle can't push on and finish, in a European place, which would be a massive achievement.
Yeah. I mean, before the season started, I gave out a prediction on John Sinclair's show, and my prediction, and this was my prediction before a ball was even kicked in the Premier League, I said we would finish 7th, which would be the Europa Conference League place.
Okay.
Because of how well we finished the last season. So I said we'll finish 7th. I said we'll win the Carabao Cup and we'll get the semi-finals of the FA Cup. That was my predictions.
Wow.
And the way, and I mean, some people say that I'm probably a bit negative, but I'm not negative. What I'm trying to do is not get carried away. While it's nice where we are at the moment, we're sitting 3rd in the Premier League. We've got a long way to go yet. We've got another 23 games to be played yet. But I always say, while we are there, if we end up in the Champions League at the end of the season, I'll be buzzing. I'll be absolutely over the moon with that. And that'll be massive progress. But the way I look at it is, I want to see where we are in April. Then that'll give us a marker of where we're going to actually, where we could finish, And
I think
if we're still in that top 4 in April, then I think we'll push for that.
I think the World Cup's done me a favour, because I think, like I said, players being rested and stuff in terms of Newcastle's players. You've also got to look at like them teams around where a lot of their players are being played. So it's like an extra amount of games. And them teams, i.e. your Man United, your Arsenal, your Tottenham, your Chelsea, your Man Cities, have also got the Champions League. They've got the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. That's a lot of games, And I see that a lot of their players aren't going to be, when it comes to the final straight, the horse race, I don't think they're going to be as sharp because they're going to play all these extra games in between on top of also a massive schedule that them clubs have. It's got to have an impact somewhere, which is, again, I think Newcastle's got a fair chance here of doing well because I think just everything, all the mathematics around it, lend itself to think that there's a window of opportunity here that perhaps what otherwise wouldn't get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy, James Madison, yeah, I would definitely go for him. I mean, I like him. I think he's very creative. He would link up well, I think, with Bruno in the midfield as well. Plus, he can play as a winger as well. So you've got both there. He's got a lot of versatility about him.
Yeah.
And we have been linked with a striker for January, but he's not a Premier League. Well, he's not been in the Premier League. Marcus Thuram of Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, he's free next summer because he's out of contract, but we believe we can get him in January for about 10 million. Now, this season, he scored 10 goals in 15 games and 3 assists for Mönchengladbach. Okay. And we know that's a German league, so that's totally different to Premier League.
Mm-hmm. And
his dad wasn't a bad centre-half.
No, Lillian, no, definitely not. And I would hate to think that we'll bring him in and then we'll start to sit behind that line of, well, it's going to take time to bet him in. I mean, I know Bruno and that took 2, 3, 4 games sitting on the bench, so that's fine. But when we are where we are with the chance that we've got and all the things I've just discussed about, like other players in other clubs suffering and being tired and whatnot, I think we need players that are going to come in and hit the ground running. James Madison's a Premier League player, knows what it takes. He's not going to need to be better than, maybe he'll have to learn the way we play and stuff, but I think that wouldn't take him any time at all. For me, though, the striker option, I would definitely be looking at Premier League. I mean, look, he's got a great goal scoring record, 10 and 15 and stuff. That's great. But for me, I would just be looking at, I don't know what options you've got, but for some reason, I've just always resonated back to Danny Ings. I just think he's proven at Premier League level. And if we're prepared to put Chris Wood in there, and I mean, there's rumoured interest in Woods leaving in January. Apparently, there's been a few clubs linked with taking him off our hands. If we're looking for that sort of player who's going to just fill in the gaps, then Danny Ings, for me, fills that bracket more than perhaps Chris Woods would. But time will tell. But I just hope primarily Newcastle look to add in January and let Wood kick on, because I think that the owners have certainly got to be sitting thinking we've got a chance here, perhaps further down the line than we thought we would be, whether it be through luck or whether it be this is actually the club that we are and we've just never seen them play this way and this is who we're going to be going forward. Then either which way you've got to make an investment in order to keep that progress, in order to keep pushing on. Then for me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Ten Hag's come out and spoken about Eddie Howe, and he said he's given a warning to people in the Premier League. He said, look, Newcastle are here, they're coming. He says, and the thing is, they're a very, very good team. He says, and Eddie Howe has shown what an excellent manager he is. He says, the brand of football he is playing, he says, is something, he says, I've never witnessed before. He says, and it's frightening to think that from what they were last season, he says, when you look back in the Premier League, he says, to what they are now, he says, they're a totally different force. He says, and even if they don't play well, they're still battering teams, he says, and that's frightening.
I think something that, like, whether you take this as humour or serious, I think certainly it's realistic, it's true, it's fact. You've got to look back at Newcastle's previous management over the last, well, obviously, definitely Steve Bruce, 100%. I mean, we're playing pretty much with a nucleus of what he had, given maybe we've got a different back four, but still 80% of that team is still what Bruce had. And Eddie Howe's come in and got them playing the way they're playing. That's got to question Steve Bruce's skills as a manager, that he couldn't get them to play to that level. Yet Eddie Howe's come in with the same nucleus and has moved us forward, not by a shortfall, The improvement is night and day. So again, you've got to wonder exactly, previous management, how haven't they managed to motivate the players to play how they are, and that's got to be down to Eddie Howe. There's no question about it. And I mean the way we'll play now, we'll play the high press. It's there for everyone to see how we actually play. But for some reason, teams are just unable to stop playing that way. And again, that falls back to Eddie Howe. So, but I just hope the owners are seeing this as a window of opportunity of look where we are. Can we cement this, or can we make sure that we don't lose progress? And just it's not going to take. I don't think we need massive input. Just one or two players, and I think that'll do all right. Because Amanda Staveley's hinted, 4 or 5 year plan. Then maybe them 2 players in January and in the summer. I don't see why the 5 year plan can't work. But at the minute, I just can't wait for competitive football to start again.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I mean, the Saudis. I mean, they like success, and if they're seeing where we are now, they might say, "Come on, let's push this on in January, see what we can bring in." I mean, Madison's got 18 months left on his deal, so you maybe get him for about 50 million. Because if Leicester leave it too long, he's going to end up not going for a lot of money because his contract will just run down.
Yeah.
By the summer, it'll be 12 months if they don't let him go in January. So getting someone like Madison in would be a fantastic sign in my eyes. And but the thing with going back to Marcus Thuram as well, not only is he a striker, but he can play as a left winger. So you'd put pressure on Alan St. Maximin as well, which is probably what ESM needs, a bit of competition. Because if you look at Jacob Murphy and Ryan Fraser, they're not really that much competition for a mother.
I'm going to be controversial here. And I said this when Eddie Howe came in, because of the position we were in, he had to use the players and keep the players playing the way they were and making improvements without upsetting the apple cart, because he couldn't afford to, given where we were. And by that, I meant St. Maximin primarily. He had to play him, he had to use him, etc. I don't think he's part of the plans now, like the primary plan. He hasn't played for so long, and Newcastle have made this progress without him. For me, he's a better player than Ketsbayer, but he reminds us of Ketsbayer in the way that sometimes he doesn't even know what he's doing, let alone other players. And Eddie Howe plays possession football, and with St. Maximin, it's a 50-50. Does he keep it or does he lose it? And I don't think he's in Eddie Howe's immediate plans. I really don't think that, because, again, like I've just said, I think Eddie Howe, when they've got the ball, he wants to keep the ball and shift the ball about, keep the ball moving forward. St. Maximin, for me, now, if I was in Eddie Howe's shoes, would be an impact player. You're losing 1-0. You're 75, 80 minutes into the game. Nothing's coming off, Lady Luck needs a little bit of a kick up the backside. That's it. But I certainly don't see St. Maximin being a starter for me. And it's a split opinion. I've said it before, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, okay, he's running around and he's playing his board game and giving away luxurious and all that." I get that. It's great. It's great for the fans. It's great that we've got a player like that wants to have rapport with the fans like that, and he loves the city, and he's got everything. He's ticking all the boxes that you want in terms of commitment. But on the pitch, I don't know. I don't know if he's just the style of play. I think that's what doesn't sit right with us. I just don't see him fitting in the way that we play now. St. Maximin's like a risk. As is Shelby. Said this about John Joe as well. Great player. In the Championship, he was untouchable when we went down with Rafa. He was like simply world class. But in the Premier League, he wants to play them Hollywood passes. And again, it's like a goal kick, isn't it? You take the goal kick and your player lands at theirs. When you've got the ball and you want to keep the ball and you want to move forward like Eddie Howe does, and then you've got him spraying that pass and then allows a counter attack. If Newcastle are pressing and Shelby spraying them balls about, and there's a good chance that maybe 3 in 10 land and the other 7 won't. It just doesn't play with the style of play. So based on the style, I'm not putting them down as players. They're both incredible players, but just the way we play, I don't see Shelby fitting in. I don't see St. Maximin. And for a short while, I didn't think Sean Longstaff would, but lately he's certainly coming of good, and he's starting to find the form that once had him linked with Man United, you know. But yeah, certainly St. Maximin, Shelby, Jacob Murphy. I'm not exactly, you know, when he comes off the bench and stuff, I kind of think, oh no. I think Newcastle's definitely got some players that can be shifted on in January. And if it was one of them 3, I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't. And maybe you'd get good money for St. Maximin that you can put towards the likes of Madison, which will be an improvement for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant question, that, by the way, Pablo. Thank you very much. LA Coffee said, oh, yeah, we asked about that one. Yeah, Junior explained that one. Rolly says, hi, Tony and Junior. Great show. Thanks, Rolly. Hi, mate. Hope you're well. Wayne says, beautiful song, Junior. I love all your music. If you do another song, you'll nail it, bud. Says
thanks, Wayne. Cheers, Wayne.
Sefton again. Alan Price was another legend like Junior.
Alan Price. Name rings a bell. It
does.
One thing I will say on that, you know, while Sefton brought that up, while I mentioned
about Alan Price.
Yeah, while you're on the subject of that, if you do get the chance, we all know Coming Home Newcastle by the late Ronnie Lava Busker, bless his soul,
yes.
No longer with us. And obviously Going Up was another one of his songs that we had during the promotion with Keegan. If you ever get the chance, there's an album out called Geordieland by Busker. I don't know if you maybe get it on Amazon, or I don't think it's on any streaming website, but some of the songs on his album, like, they should be as big as Coming Home Newcastle. He writes a song called Northumbria, which is about like the Romans and stuff when they came here, and the Vikings and all, like the history of who we are. And there's a song called War Lass. There's a song called Brown Dog about brown ale on there. If you get the chance, just whether like I say, you can find it. I think it is on CD on Google and stuff. If you get the chance, please give it a listen. I know Northumbria is on YouTube, but I haven't been able to find any of his other stuff. But I've got the album itself, and the guy was an absolute. When you talk about like an album for local music, there's certainly some songs there that I would love to bring back. Maybe that's something. If I did do it, I would be looking to speak to a member of his family and see if I could do it with their grace and maybe bring back that music so it doesn't go unheard.
Yeah, absolutely great shout. I mean, yeah, he was fantastic, was Busker, absolutely. And yeah, we all, and that's another song I still sang coming home, you know, I'm Coming Home Newcastle. I mean, it's always going to be sung, and it'll be like yours, The Banks of the Time.
Harry Palmer, never forget Harry Palmer as well.
Oh, yes, his FA Cup final songs.
Yeah, and when the beans come out the tin, and I remember all them songs as well. So another legend, Harry Palmer.
Yeah, absolutely. LA Coffee says, Junior Turner has immortalised through his music.
Thanks, man. Cheers, Coffee.
Yeah. Tangi's in. Hi, Tangi says, yes, our heritage and history is built upon hard work ethic. We pioneered the world back in the day. We built the railways, the ships. We made the steel. We are made of steel. We are tough up north. Absolutely. I mean,
100%.
My other half, she's from Cambridge. And the first time she ever came to Newcastle and me, she absolutely loves the place. And she said, you know, she says, I've never met so much and friendly people in all my life. She says, everybody talks to you. And you know what? She absolutely loves it. And every time we come up here, she loves to come up to Newcastle. And we'll be making a trip up there sometime soon. But yeah, she loves going up there. And she absolutely loves it. LA Coffee. I first practiced singing in crowds. Then after building some confidence, I moved to singing in choirs in church, where I learned from people who are already professionally trained. Confidence is key.
100%.
Sefton says, ask for last to get me the T-shirt, Banks of the River Tyne.
There's a new T-shirt just come out. I've got it on Twitter yesterday. I'll put it on after the show, and maybe Tony can retweet it and stuff. There's a new top come out. It's the 95 Pavel Srnicek goalkeeper kit, like the Sunrise, the red to yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a new Banks of the River Tyne just come out. So have a look at that as well.
I like Coffee Banks of the River Tyne t-shirts and mugs would be awesome.
Coffee, if you like I say, if you're on Twitter, give us a follow. Junior Turner 84. Junior Turner, all one word, then 84. And I'll send you the information on the t-shirts and you can have a look at them, mate. There's loads, but the new one, I think the new one's going to be popular. We'll put it out yesterday and the orders have absolutely flown in for it. So take a look.
There you go, guys. So make sure you go onto Twitter and follow Junior at Junior Turner 84. LA Coffee says, "Oh, understood. No worries about the Sports Direct signs. Didn't know the viewers get affected with the edits." Yeah.
I'll change it in a heartbeat, believe you and me. And I wouldn't give another penny to that bloke, but yeah.
No. Tanji says, "My grandma, who's lived in Howden her entire life, for 88 years old, there's only a few days left to live. So when you talk about heritage and roots in the north, it means a lot." Tanji, thoughts are with you, mate. I mean, 88.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I resonate
but, yeah, I mean,
thoughts are with you, mate.
Yeah. And our thoughts are with you, Tanji, at this difficult time, mate. Yeah. And LA Coffee says, "Whoa, Sam Fender."
Very, very down to earth, lovely lad.
And Chippers says, "Banks of the River Tyne is something you can say down the family to your parents, grandparents, great grandparents, etc." Yeah,
it's mad how it resonates through the generations and ages and stuff. I mean, I've got kids, man, like literally, like kids like 5-6-year-olds singing it. I get videos sent to us, and it's just crazy, like the span that it's like it's reached out to is just crazy.
LA Coffee says, "What's Junior's favourite Newcastle match and goal of all time?" Oh, now you're putting him on the spot.
Favourite match. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the day that Shearer broke Jackie Milburn's record with favourite match, because I've never experienced anything like that. I think I would only be in my teens, I think. And I remember just being grabbed I was in the Milburn stand and being grabbed and dragged all over by grown blokes crying and like cuddling you, and everyone just seemed to become as though they'd known everyone for years. It was just, and then for about 15 minutes, just the whole ground singing "Hey Shearer," and I think even Shearer, when we went back to kick off after the goal, stood and you could see him looking around and was just like, wow. So I'll take that one, even though there was many others that I've been at. I've been, like, I was there in 91 with Leicester. I was at the Barcelona game. I was at the 5-0 Man U game. I've been at loads of amazing games. I mean, even going back to Dwight Gale against Norwich 4-3, that was phenomenal. But I'm going to go with the Shearer game because I've never experienced an atmosphere like that. And favourite goal of all time is going to go to Big Al again, the volley against Everton. That was just like a goal like you'd never see. You know what I mean? And how ironic, right? When you look at it, that both of them times, Shola backheeled it for Shearer to go through and break the record, and Shola won the header that flicked it then to Shearer to volley it. Interesting little fact. Never thought about that until now. So there's me 2 answers for them ones.
There you go, guys. So that's there's so many different matches that I could have as a favourite match, but I always
Honestly,
go back to the Man U 5-0. But then I always go back to, when we beat the Mackhams 5-1 as well at St James Park 12 years ago.
Nolan, I was there for that. There's so many games.
There.
There's games where you've won like in the deep of time and stoppage time, but certainly, like I say, when Shearer broke a record, it's not just. It was just purely. I've never experienced anything like that. Like I say, I was there by myself. I was only in my teens, and like just grown blokes that were grabbing you and cuddling you, and they were crying, and it's just like something like it's like a surreal moment. You know what I mean? You're looking around thinking, "Has what the hell's just actually happened?" And it's still vivid in your head, you know. So that's why I went with that, 'cause it stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back when we played Sun in the playoffs and in the '90, and I was in the Gallagher corner because I couldn't get near the scoreboard that time, but I was in the Gallagher corner, and we lost 2-0 to Sunderland that night, which put us out of the playoffs because we drew obviously 0-0 away to Roker Park, thanks to Burridge, good old Budgie saving the penalty. But yeah, and I remember at the end of the game, all the fans were pushing because they were just like getting on the pitch and things like that. And I remember I was getting pushed that much. I actually ended up on the pitch, and this policewoman came up to nick me. She went, "Oh, you're nicked for coming on the pitch." And I went, "Oh, hang on a minute, love." I says, "I'm actually trying to get out the ground." I says, "I was actually pushed onto the pitch." I said, I couldn't get through the crowds. I says, because he were pushing, so I was pushed onto the pitch. I says, I wasn't intentionally coming on the pitch to try and cause a scene or anything. And she was actually quite all right after that. She went, "Okay." She said, "Well, I believe you." Then she said, "I'll take out this exit. We'll get you out the nearest exit." And she took me through an emergency exit. But yeah, I thought, God, I'm not getting nicked for football veterans or anything, because I'm not that way inclined. I'm just trying to get. I was literally trying to get out the ground, but when you've got like a few thousand behind you pushing you, you can't do nothing about it. So you just got to go with the flow, haven't you?
I'm trying to remember. I would have been 22-year-old actually when Shearer broke a record. I was 22. I still remember that. And like I say, it was just one of them amazing things, because I remember the game before that was against Morecambe. I'm sure it was Morecambe who played in the cup, and he levelled it. He levelled the record. Albert Luque back heeled it for to go through and score. I remember that as well. That was special as well, because obviously he matched the record that day. But when he broke it, wow, incredible.
Yeah. I like coffee chip site. Yeah, they've been banned. It's not chip site though. You get these spams that come on, and yeah.
Bless them.
Sefton says we could do a Leicester.
We couldn't, but that's what I was saying before, because Leicester fell off the ball. You know, it was like a one-season wonder with them. And that's what I'm saying by investing. You know, you can ensure that we don't do a Leicester, i.e. a one-off, and by investing, moving the club forward as well, which is part of Amanda's plan. So not only would you be investing to maintain the progress, you're investing in terms of making sure next season we don't then finish back in 10th or 11th, and that this season, in fact, just being a one-off like Leicester was. So again, that's why I'm saying, like, I hope we invest so that we can maintain this position in who we are and what we are.
Yeah. I mean, it's clever what we're doing with terms of these little deals that we're bringing in, these little sponsors. Like Man City done the same. They brought in these sponsors like of about £1 million, which don't have to go through Premier League approval. And Man City have probably about 100 of these. So you're talking £100 million a season there on these small sponsors, which just sneak under the radar. And that's what we're starting to do now.
Yeah.
And if you're getting £100 million a season in, that's all great, because you're generating the funds for the club, which means your financial fair play is a lot better as well, and you don't have to worry about that too much. And I think that's what we'll end up doing. We've done a few so far, and there's more to come, and we're going to see a lot more soon, I would imagine, especially next season on the front of the shirts as well. I mean, just shows you how much the owners have invested straight away, because for Noon to be on the sleeve of £7.5 million a year, it's £1 million more than what Fun 88 are paying for the front of the shirt.
Well, it's amazing, because I never actually realised that. I read an article on that not long ago about the Custode deal and Fun 88. I think we're bottom of the league on both of them in terms of what they both bring to the club financially.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And I mean, next season, front of the shirt sponsor is going to be £22 million apparently.
More the merrier. The more the merrier.
Yeah, that's what you do when you've got a proper ownership in the club, and how you make money for the club as well.
Yeah.
Coffee says some of the Moroccan players have been great in this World Cup. I mean, Morocco were a surprise, weren't they? I mean, shame they couldn't get the final. They were the better team over France as well last night.
Yeah, they had a few chances as well.
Yeah, and he says some of the Man U players have stepped up and have been in form during the World Cup. Yeah, Rashford, one of them. Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he?
Yeah, but again, though, that could only serve us well in terms of going forward. Like I say, they've got such a heavy schedule at club level that these extra games have got to be a burden at some point. So again, I hope that lends itself to Newcastle.
Yeah, Sefton says he would love to get Madison as well.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Tanji says, one thing I would say about the Man U players is they like the big stage at the World Cup, but now we are back to the tough business, domestic league and cups. Yeah,
Apart from Harry Maguire.
absolutely. Yeah. Wouldn't want him at the club, that's for sure.
I feel sorry for him in a way. I think the big price tag, I think it was like another Andy Carroll, wasn't it? He was bought on current form, not longevity. I'd rather be signing players that have performed like them over 3-4 seasons. Andy Carroll was bought like a flash in the pan. And I think Maguire's been the same, sadly. I think he hit form and was bought on the back of that form. But at the time Leicester won the title, and Leicester, he kind of played part of a team, and so you're kind of buying part of something rather than an individual. Blood's playing well in his own right.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan says Bruce was a terrible manager. Yes, he was. He's a dinosaur manager with dinosaur tactics. If you notice, West Brom are playing better now since he's gone as well, so it just shows you.
4-4.
Even beat the Mackhams the other night. Tanji says ESM's a luxury, great guy, but I feel he isn't what Eddie Howe wants. Eddie Howe wants the high press and the work ethic. Yeah,
100%.
exactly, Tanji. Same 100%. As what Junior's mentioned as well. Alan says, I think St. Max has changed his play. He said he was listening to Trippier about not trying to beat everyone, and I think he might stay. Yeah, he could well do. LA Coffee says, we also need another centre-back like Vardiol to partner Botman. Yeah, he's had a good World Cup. I mean, he plays for Croatia at centre-back. That's not a bad shout. I mean, he's 20-year-old.
Are we unbeaten over him and Fabian Shaw playing together?
Yeah, we are, yeah. I mean, if you want to partner Botman, I mean, maybe you need to bring a young centre-half in to maybe take over from when Shea eventually goes, because, I mean, he's 30 now, isn't he, Shea? 31, yeah. So, I mean, this lad, I would say, would be a great buy. Benoit Badiashile plays for Monaco. I mean, terrific defender. 21. So he fits in with the Project Youth ethic as well. And you probably pick him up for about 40 million quid. So he's not a bad player. I mean,
who's the one that Eddie Howe did have, and apparently he's going to be leaving? Is it Man City? He used to have him at Bournemouth.
Oh, Ake.
There was something written about him in the paper the other day. I seen. I don't know whether he's leaving Man City or could be up for leaving or.
Yeah.
Again, I just think when we're making the progress that we're making, I think you've got to definitely be looking at the work ethic of them and making sure that they're going to come in and hit the ground running, and they're not going to need this time to get in. You know, I mean, like I said earlier, Bruno took 3-4 games off the bench and hit the ground running, and it looks like Isaac's going to do the same with the way he played at Liverpool and stuff. But I just hope Newcastle, especially in the transfer market going forward, I hope they continue to get it right. I mean, so far it's been perfect. But I just want players that are going to come in and improve work, but be ready to improve rather than take time. Because that's one thing that bugs me. Like when I hear analysts on the game say, "Oh well, it's going to take them time to." Yeah, I get that. I understand it, but at the same time, when you're playing football at the high end of the league, you don't really want that happening. You want players that are going to come in and make an immediate impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you 100%. Sefton says Alan Price was with the Animals, the Jarrow March. Yeah, now I know.
Yes.
And he also says, what do you think of Jimmy Neal's songs?
Are you going to put us on the spot, Sefton? How dare you do this? Oh, Sefton, I can't believe you've done this to us. Right, okay. I think I mentioned this night on your channel. I think I came on later on and left. Someone made a comment about Jimmy Neal. Jimmy Neal, for me, he. I suppose everyone does it though because the Northeast doesn't offer much in the way of entertainment chances. It's a very hard place, and I've heard many other people, music wise and acting wise, going to the big lights, go down south and stuff. But Jimmy Neal, he kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say lost his route, but yeah, I don't know. I find it hard to associate him with, like I love How Wiedersehen Pet. I love Big River. I think it's a great song. I love singing it. It's very about like Swan Hunters and stuff like that, and the Neptune Yard and all that kind of stuff. But it just, I don't know. I just think you don't see him now. He doesn't have much to do with the area. And I just feel a little bit like he's forgot his roots. As sad as it sounds. It's nothing personal against the guy. I don't think for 2 seconds that he's said or done anything that like upset us or anything. I just think he could do a little bit more for the area and perhaps I know he has his little moments with Sunday for Sammy and stuff, which is great. But I don't know. I just feel like you don't see him as much for someone that's as proud or makes out to be as proud as he is for the area. Then he doesn't have a lot to do with the area. So musically wise, Crocodile Shoes and stuff like that. I love all them songs. Great songs. Big River, legendary. But I just wish, like I say, just a little bit more give back from him would be good. I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say it and get it out there. As for Sting, don't even get it started. I read his book, and I come from Wallsend. I'm proud of Wallsend. I sound like the Steve Bruce song, yeah. I'm from Wallsend, and he's from Wallsend, but he wasn't. He was from Corbridge, Steve Bruce. But Sting wrote in a book saying that it was like being brought up in like a war zone and stuff. Wallsend when he was younger and stuff. His family had the dairy business around here. They were well to do compared to others. When you look back over time and like you go back, I was born in '84 and stuff. And like money back then, what's £20 now? £20 back then was like a fortune. You know what I mean? And they were a well-to-do family. Sting's mum actually delivered me. She was a nurse at the hospital where I was born, at Preston Hospital. And Sting forgot his roots, spoke negatively of the area, and then the opposite to Jimmy Neal, he came back with like his Tall Ships musical playing stuff. He came back and tried to act like Wallsend was like his bread and butter and how proud he was. Yet in his autobiography, which is his words, he absolutely put the place down and said he couldn't wait to escape it and stuff like that. So it doesn't bode well with me at all when it comes to Sting. So Jimmy Neal, like I said, musically, great. As for giving back, on the other hand, the flip side of it is you've got a bloke there that condemns the area, hates the area, but then comes back and expects the area to lick his horse. Not for me. At the end of the day, I get referred to as being the lad from Wallsend, and that's something that Sting will never ever have. Never ever, in my eyes, he'll never ever have because, like I say, he condemned the area and then expected it to give back. Well, if you speak to anyone around here, everyone tells you the same. So he's not that well respected where I come from. So But again, it's just opinions. But I'd rather answer the question now than get the question because I know Sefton would have given us that question on.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, totally agree. It's just should never forget your roots in my eyes.
Never.
I mean, I'll never ever forget my roots. Like I would never lose my accent either. So I mean, you look at Robson Green; he's lost his accent.
Sting, Robson Green. I mean, I suppose Robson Green and that I kind of see it from their point. It's not their doing. I've heard of other actors and stuff where they actually get told to increase the chances of work, they have to find a neutral voice. And the Geordie dialects perhaps too thick and stuff like that. I have heard the technicalities and stuff, but for me, I wouldn't change. But that's just the way it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mason says, I've supported the club for 10 years and mine is the last minute goal against Anzi.
It's a rare one.
Yeah, definitely. Sefton says, my favourite game was Special KV QPR when he scored. I was in the Gallagher End Magic. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get the pleasure to see him play, but I did get to obviously got to witness the finest football that I've ever seen till now with the entertainers. And I've got to perform alongside Kevin a few times. It's at gigs and stuff. I've actually got this is a tier. I'll just get it for you. Right there.
Love the song, love him to bits. One of my biggest fans, and it's going to be a big hit, obviously, because the audience that listen to the room tonight, they know the words already. That's the first time they've heard it. Just get.
There you go. That was the night I performed "Banks of the River Tyne" with Keegan, and
wow,
yeah, he loved the song and he was in tears. Believe it or not, true fact, he was in tears when I sang it.
He's another guy. He's not from the area originally, but he absolutely loves the area.
He just gets it because his dad and stuff was from up this way, and he was brought up pretty much like Bobby Robson was. It was bled into them, and he just gets the area. And it's a shame because when I was on with him, actually, I'm not speaking out of turn, but I know that because Kevin had said, "Oh, I don't want things getting taken out of the room and stuff." But I know I can say this because I think it's been reported in the media that he said he won't be coming back to Newcastle. He's kind of done with the club because everyone was asking about the ambassador role or a role upstairs, and he won't be coming back. I was saddened, but when I heard his reasons, I kind of understood. He said he's been here twice, and sometimes you can keep going back to a good thing until it becomes a bad thing, or it can go wrong, or whatever. And the last time we was here with Lambias and them, it never really ended the way he wanted it to. And he's no disrespect to him. He's getting on now. He's enjoying his life. He's doing his football talkings, and he's got a few other things going on in his life. It's a couple of times I've worked with Kevin now, so I kind of get to talk to him about family and friends, and he asks about my family and stuff. So it's really nice. And like I say, just talking to him in general. Last time, he's quite content in life, but I would have loved to have seen him back at the club. And it's quite mad that I get to, thankfully, again due to Banks of the River Tyne and United We Stand. Like I've worked with Alan Shearer and that, and like I've got Shearer on Twitter and that, and I've seen him and I speak to him like on a friendship level now. And it's mad that these idols, people that I grew up absolutely adoring, like I get to work with now and share a room or a stage or a dressing room with, and get to talk to them and get to. It's just crazy. Sometimes I pinch myself and think, there I was, like in the Gallagher End in 1991, watching Newcastle beat Leicester and hanging on every word that Keegan said, and now here I am, and I'm getting the phone call saying, "Oh, Kevin Keegan's doing an event and he would like you to perform." And so, yeah, lucky boy, very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Ali Coffee, my favourite match is a 4-4 with Arsenal. Favourite goal is tied between Tiote and Cissé's goal against Chelsea. Second goal against Chelsea from Cissé. I mean, what a goal that was from the outside of his foot to beat a goalkeeper at the calibre of a Czech as well.
I was in the Haymarket bus station, 4-1 down, Arsenal. I'd left the game.
You had left the game. I was in the game, and I mean, you probably remember a guy, but he used to sit just along from me because I sat in the Leasers. But he sat along from me, a guy called Keith, big lad with NUFC on his stomach, tattooed on his stomach. Him and his mate.
Biffa.
Yeah. Well, him and his mate, they were after 18 minutes when we were 3 down. They said, "Oh, Tony, you're not staying here to watch us crap, are you?" And I said, "Well, I'll stay for a bit longer and just see if we get anything, And I thought, I don't feel like leaving because I think something, I hope for a goal or two from us and then that'll be enough, But they left after 18 minutes. And then obviously we went 4 down, and it was just one of those games. You didn't expect it. And I mean, I even said to somebody at half time, where I said, "Look, even if we get a goal or two, I'll be happy with that. Even if we're half the deficit and we lose 4-2, at least come out the second half and try. But to get 4-4, I didn't even expect that. And then the fact is, Kevin Nolan shaved the post at the end, and it could have been 5-4 Newcastle. I mean, but then I said to somebody, what turned that game on its head was, and at the time when it happened, because obviously it happened not far from where I was sitting, and when Abu Dhabi started on not only Joey Barton, but then Kevin Nolan as well, and got himself sent off by Phil Dowd. And I thought, and I said to the guy next to me, why on earth has he done that? His team are 4-0 up. Why get a red card? And then I think that red card changed the game. And
I think it did,
we got 2 penalties in that game, which Barton put away. Plus, Leon Best's first goal was never offside anyway. I mean, but
No, I remember that.
didn't have VAR.
Aye, VAR.
Yeah, I mean, but what a comeback that was at the end of the, and yeah, and I remember we all coming out singing so happy, saying to Arsenal fans, you've effed it up with 4-0 and all that. And I've never seen a fan base like it in all my life. The police were literally standing on the stairs holding them back. The Arsenal fans were trying to get to us to have a go at us and fight. And they were actually pushing the police and everything. And I thought, you haven't even lost the game. Why are you fighting? Why do you want to fight with us? And I just thought, how stupid, But no, all in all, I mean, that was a cracking day. And I'm glad I did stay now. I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah, but cheers for rubbing that one
in. Tanji says, I was at the old Wembley when Rob Lee equalised against Chelsea. Yeah, until that guy Poyet scored for Chelsea. And I mean, Bobby Robson used to say that bloody Poyet again.
Every time.
And then he says, like Shearer's record-breaking goal, I was in the Gallagher limbs everywhere for both goals. Both experiences hard to separate.
Yeah.
I mean, Poyet was one of them players who used to keep scoring against us, didn't he?
Yeah, like this year, wasn't he? Just one of them that wouldn't go away like a bad smell.
Chris says, at long last, Newcastle have some clever people running the commercial side of the club. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan says, need a decent sponsor. Funny 88 is poo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they 100%. Are, aren't they? Although they do put some funny tweets out there. Wayne says, Cece's goal against Chelsea, Albert goal against Man United. There were loads to choose from. Shiraz as well. I mean, do you remember Robert's 2 crackers in that game against Spurs as well? I mean, he was what a left foot hit.
Yesterday was actually the memory of that, I believe, because he, I'm sure it was yesterday he had it on Instagram, Lauren Robert, and I'm sure it was like so many years since it happened.
Yeah. I mean, what a wonder of a left foot that guy had. I mean, when he hit a shot, it stayed hit.
You see, the thing is, Tony, when you're mentioning that, right, you mentioned, like, I was talking about St. Maximin before, and then Laurent Robert, but, like, for me, the best left-sided midfielder I've ever seen in Newcastle was David Ginola, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I sat in the middle of Paddock that first season he was here. And I remember we played Middlesbrough, and Neil Cox was the right back for Middlesbrough, and he just turned him inside out. And I was sat 4 or 5 yards from the touchline, and I've never ever seen a player like that with a ball. Laurent Robert, in terms of shooting wise, and like I would have Ginola, then Robert, then Maximin, like in terms of like standing for me. But honestly though, like Laurent Robert, like you say, great left foot, but left-sided player for Newcastle for me, David Ginola all day long.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, what a great player he really was, Ginola. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, his goal against Man U was a cracker as well. Tanji says, Harry Suter, the Aussie defender, would be better value for money and good backup for our centre-halves. Yeah, I mean, he played well in the World Cup, didn't he? Didn't do too bad. Wayne says, Casido and Madison at the right price. Well, apparently Brighton are looking for 70 million for Casido, so I think that's going to be out the window. LA Coffee says, did we miss out on Goncalo Ramos last transfer window? The Benfica striker who scored a hat-trick in the World Cup. I think because he got an injury, so I think that sort of like shelved the plans if we were looking at him. He got an injury in the Champions League game, so
we missed out on that
went out
French
the window.
We missed out on that French kid that went to Paris Saint-Germain instead, and he's had a nightmare since he went there, hasn't he?
Yeah, Ekitike, yeah.
Yeah.
Alan says, Big River's class, but that's about it. Good actor and Auf Wiedersehen Pet. Jimmy Neal.
Yeah.
Wayne says, Mina loves your music as well as he came out at the time. Burner at Swan Hunters 1984. The day I was born, my uncle worked in the coal mines.
Oh, cheers, Wayne. Lovely one. Say thanks to your dad for that, man.
Yeah. Sefton says, brilliant, Junior. LA Coffee says, important for an artist to have a team to give feedback or some reviews on lyrics, tunes, and instrumental arrangements before a new song is launched. He's saying, is that important?
Is it important? Yes and no. I have a. The problem is, it's a fine balance, and by that, you can have too many opinions. By having too many opinions, then leads to you'll never ever get a definitive answer. If that makes sense. So if you have like maybe 3 or 4 people that you trust, you can kind of get a majority vote easier than you would if you give it to 20 people. And if you give it to 20 people, one person might like rock, one might like country, one might like heavy metal, and then they'll pull it apart in different ways, and you actually don't get a definitive answer. So I have a very close school of people that are giving music to, and I trust them implicitly to tell us the truth. One's my mum, one's my dad, one's the team at the recording studio, but they kind of, it's on the day that I'm recording with them that'll get to a point where they say, right, I think we're nigh on, we're done here in terms of the production. Chris, my best mate, he gets to listen to it. And there's 1 or 2 people in the music industry, like radio guys and stuff. They normally get a sneak peek, and I kind of get a general consensus. And 9 times out of 10, it's normally always good to go. There's maybe 1 or 2 little things, and normally what I like to do when I've actually recorded a song, and I get it given, it was like, you normally get like a rough demo. They don't actually master it on the day. Mastering's like to get the levels all right, so everything sounds where it should be, and it also gets like made to a level of so you can put on the radio, because the radio's always got to be one level. All the songs are like made to a certain level, so they all can play without being put down. So it gets mastered after you leave, but you always get a demo that's more or less, give or take, 85% good enough to listen to. And when I come home, I'm in my studio now. When I come home, I actually put it in the drawer, the CD or the MP3. I leave on my laptop, and I give it like 2 or 3 days away from it, because when you've been in the recording studio for a day or 2 days or whatever it is, and you've heard that song repeatedly, like over and over and over for like 8-9 hours a day, the last thing you want to do is listen to it again when you've just got home. So I normally leave it a day or 2 or 3, and then I give it a listen, and then I kind of assess it myself and think, hey, I need this or this or this. And then I'll go to them people that I've just enlisted and told you about and say, give it a listen. And then when they come back with their opinion, I'll say, well, I think this. And 9 times out of 10, it's always it's minor things, if anything. You know, maybe I could add a bit or. But 9 times, like I say, if you're going to go about it that way and you want it to have that school of thought that'll assess it for you, just try and be people that you trust, people that are professional, people that you've got to make like that team, and each member of that team's got to have a different reason for being there. But don't make it too big, because, like I say, you'll end up with, they're like Arseholes opinions. Everyone's got one. So,
yeah. True, though, true. Sefton says, would you consider writing a book?
Oh, God. Without being libelous, yeah. I'd have to make a few abbreviations for names, I suppose. But yeah, something I would love to do. I've lived a very full-on life for the age of us. I've been through relationship breakdowns, family courts. I've been through, obviously, I nearly died with my health. I've got some funny tales of being on the road, things that have happened on gigs that people wouldn't believe. So I think the book would make for good reading. I think I could come at the book from every single emotion. And I'm only 38, so I've still got a long way to go in this life. But I certainly could write a book now, and maybe another book later, or I could wait and bring out like an encyclopedia when I'm 60. But no, it's definitely something I've thought about, and I've actually had 2 people come forward that are ghostwriters off their own back and ask us if it's something I would like to do. Because apparently now with it being Kindles and stuff, there's no like, if you go about that way, you can just actually launch a book onto like on a digital, and there's no cost incurred like in terms of printing and publishing and da. So never say never if it's an easy format, but I would hate to be the ghostwriter because I literally mean it, that I've lived a full life, and like so like one day could probably fill like a chapter. But never say never.
Absolutely. Be interesting if you did bring one out, though. I would certainly read it, that's for sure. Dan, she says, it's funny, but I feel like Eddie Howe gets Newcastle just like Keegan did back in the days. I haven't been this excited for Newcastle since the Bobby Robson days. Yeah, totally agree with you.
Yeah, I said the same the other night watching the Bobby Robson. The documentary was on, More Than a Manager. It was on ITV 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I actually turned to my dad and said, it's mad when you look back, like the 8-0 Chef Wed game when Robson came in, and then we went on to Europe and all that. And I said to my dad, I says, I think this is going to happen again now. I think this is where we're going again. It's like, you know, like the start of the season was like, last season was just Eddie Howe surviving and having to bite his tongue and just trying to manifest a way out of things. But now we're seeing Eddie Howe for Eddie Howe, how he wants to play, etc. And from that, I get the same feelings as what Tanji's just mentioned. And I hope and pray that I'm right. And again, I go back to the point that I made about January. Although I don't think we'll make massive signings, I think we do have to make signings, and have to be signings that ensure the progress we've made is solidified, and these signings ensure that this season is not a one-off going forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. Wayne says he remembers Newcastle and Leeds match under Bobby comeback Kings, when we beat them 4-3 at Ellen Road.
Nobby Solano was imperative that day.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah, absolutely. Alan, I think he's got his names mixed up, but yeah, he says evening John and Junior, but it's Tony and Junior. As for local singers, what about Brian Johnson of AC/DC and also 70s band Geordie?
Geordie are still doing the rounds. I don't know exactly the lineup. Seen the poster kicking about. I think the one in the Anson in Wall's End a matter of weeks ago, whether it's a tribute band or what, but poster said he certainly said Geordie, and I know that Brian Johnson came from there. Obviously, as you mentioned, AC/DC. I know he's had problems with his ears, and he had to quit the band. He had problems with his ears from years and years of playing stadium tours, and there wasn't things like what we've got now with in-ear monitors and stuff, so that everything's balanced and doesn't hurt you, and there's no, strain over the ears. But as far as I heard, I don't know how true it is. I heard that he was back in the studio making some new music with the band. So maybe he might not be able to go live and shout and scream on stage with loud sounds. But if you can certainly get in the studio, he's certainly. I think it would be a success no matter what he does, because the size, and you've only got to look at some of the. I mean, I was watching Thunderstruck last week on YouTube, and you look at some of the like it was live, and some of the crowds at the pull, man. Like, to think like a Geordie lad can go on to do things like that and play to their audiences. And then Sam Fender's doing the same now. Sam Fender's pulling big crowds in, and he's certainly, like Glastonbury and stuff like that. I see him headlining that in the not too near future, and he's making strides for himself, and I'm really proud of him. More so, as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Jimmy Nail and Sting and stuff, one thing that Sam Fender cannot be talked about in that vein is that he's forgot his roots. Far from it. He's
No.
endorsing everything, whether it's the imagery behind him on stage. He's got the Lowlights Tavern cartoon thing going on. He's got the piano draped in the Newcastle colours. He's playing St James's Park. He's ticking all the boxes, but it's not for the one that he's doing it for PR. He's doing it because that's who he is, and that to me means 10 times more that he's genuinely in love with where he comes from. You know, he's not doing it to win over anyone. And Brian Johnson's pretty much the same. Still a man of his roots and still proud of where he come from. Whether he lives in the States or whatever now, but certainly a man that still I've seen actually kicking about in pubs and clubs and stuff when he's been back in the Northeast having a pint, and fair play to him. You know, the man's a millionaire. He doesn't have to be among the people, but he's one of us, so he doesn't choose to be different when he's back in his roots. So, kudos to him, very much so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant guy. Alan says, best match for me was Martin McDonald's Supermarket against Liverpool at St James's Park. Brilliant.
A long time before my time, but I've worked with Supermarket many times.
Yeah. He's
Lovely
a good,
man.
nice guy. He's
Lovely
always
man.
got time. Ali Coffee, if Junior had to tell something to his younger self, what would it be?
I live by the motto now, actually. So I'll quote myself with the motto that there's no regrets in life. They're just lessons that you learn from and improve who you are. Don't get yourself down. Don't be upset when things don't go your way. It's not failure. It's just that you need to look, change, better yourself. There's no bad things in life. It's a path. It's true what they say. It's a path in life, you know. And it's you never take a negative as a negative. Take the negative and look at it how you can turn it into a positive. And like I say, I live by the motto that there's no regrets, there's just lessons to learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Well said, mate. Yeah. Sefton says, brilliant show, lads. Write that book, Junior. That would be some interesting read.
Like I say, don't never say never with everything, Sefton. That I've got since Banks of the River Time come out, I think I haven't been complacent. I've been doing a lot of live shows and I've been, kind of riding off the back of what's going on with it and stuff. But I'm certainly ready and getting itchy feet to do something next. Obviously the Christmas thing came out and video and whatnot. That's just a kind of tick another box. But Banks of the River Tyne still, that's still at the top of the ocean. That's still my big wave that's happening for us. But I'm certainly ready to see what's next. And if that's a book, if it's another song, if it's an album, you've certainly gave us food for thought tonight, if anything. So thanks for that, man.
Yeah, brilliant, Sefton. Thank you, mate. Yeah. Tanji says, isn't the singer Pamela Starks who sang with Meatloaf from Newcastle area? She's Whitney Bay, isn't she?
It's not Pamela Starks. I can tell you the interesting deal. It's Lorraine Crosby. And Lorraine Crosby comes from Walker. That's where her childhood was. And I'm very good friends with Lorraine. And Lorraine is an incredible singer. Probably one of
She's
the
got
best.
A fantastic voice, yeah.
Probably one of the best female rock singers I've ever heard. And she sang with Meatloaf, and for whatever the reason, she wasn't deemed good enough or whatever that the producer of the video had in his thoughts. And she didn't get featured in the video. It was a dark-haired model that actually lip-synced Lorraine's part. So Lorraine never actually visually got seen on the music video. So when people see her for the first time or hear her for the first time talk about that, they don't relate to what they've seen in the video to being Lorraine. But then when she sings it or she opens her mouth to sing, it's like, wow, okay. So she never, unfortunately, she did like 50% of the deal in singing it. But as for the music video of Meatloaf, she never actually got the part in that, which was sad because it would have been nice for her to get the visual recognition. But she's certainly not any worse off, I wouldn't say, because her talent lends itself to that missed opportunity. And she's had an amazing career and still has an amazing career working on cruise ships. And she's actually just finished a musical called "I'd Do Anything for Love," where she was obviously on stage singing various Meatloaf songs and stuff. There was like a tribute show to him traveling around the country.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lorraine again, another, we've talked about football songs and Brian Johnson. Lorraine Crosby's another Northeast legend who deserves everything that comes her way and all the respect that she gets, and certainly from me.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. She's a brilliant singer. LA Coffee says, thank you, Tony and Junior Turner. I loved the discussion and learned so much. Thanks very much,
Good
mate.
luck with Coffee, and good luck with the guitar and the choir and everything that will come your way. And remember, just enjoy it and learn from it and just keep improving. You'd never stop improving. And good luck with it. Well done, bud.
Yeah. Tanji says, yes, Walker. My dad's seen her lately. Fantastic singer.
Yeah, she's just actually played our last show. She's actually stopping doing pubs and clubs now. She's moving on to bigger and better things, which have come along for her. So again, fair play and well done. Good luck, Lorraine.
Yeah, absolutely. Wayne says, Matt McDonald, the only man to score 5 goals for England in a game. Yeah. I mean, that's some achievement, isn't it?
Didn't he upset the England manager, though? Him and the England manager didn't get on at the time. I just from the football talkings, and he had pointed to the scoreboard as they walked off at Wembley. It had Malcolm McDonald 5 goals, and he had pointed to it and made like a point of letting the England manager know what it said and how he'd done, for the England manager to follow it up and kind of make a remark, something along like, it's your first and last time, so enjoy it. Because he tried to big himself, the England manager, and apparently it kind of backfired on him somewhat because the England manager didn't favour him. But I just remember Malcolm telling us that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we've been on just over 2 hours now, and it's flown by. Mind that I think we could have. Well, I think we could talk all night. To be fair, I mean, Junior's more than welcome to come on again if he wants to come on again. I mean,
always open. Open.
And he could always do a song for you next time. Hopefully, he's
definitely.
Yeah, set up, and that would be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, guys, thank you for coming on, and thank you for all your questions in the chat tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant. You've made it nice and easy for Junior. You haven't given it too hard anyway. And but yeah, guys, before we wrap up, if you like what you see, please hit the like button. It does help the channel move up the search settings and makes people find it more easily as well. Also, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Free to do so. Helps the channel grow. And bell notification also tells you when I'm live or pre-recorded videos on there, or even upcoming shows coming up as well. So I've got no show tomorrow, but I'll have something probably Saturday and Sunday, and then on Monday there'll be a preview for the Bournemouth game on Tuesday, because we're back to proper football on Tuesday, because it's a return of the Carabao Cup. There we go. So let's hope we're sitting with that at the end of the season. That would be nice in the trophy cabinet, wouldn't it? But yeah, my prediction will come through then. Yeah, I didn't even put a bet on it. I probably should have, thinking about it now. But yeah, I mean, but like I say, thank you very much for coming on tonight, Junior. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, mate. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, thank you to everybody out there. Hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. If you have liked the shows and things like that, please share the show, the channel, around social media. It does help it grow as well. And absolutely fantastic to everybody who's subscribed so far. But for now, from me and Junior, oh, hang on, I've got another comment just come in there. And Sefton again, he says, great to hear from Junior.
Cheers, Sefton. Thanks, man. Take care, brother.
Yeah, he's a great guy, is Sefton. He was on the other week. I don't know if you've seen it, if you haven't, to catch up with it, but he's a nice guy. His wife's a Liverpool supporter, by the way.
We've all got issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And Alan says, great show, lad. Sorry, Tony, for calling you John. No, that's fine, mate. No worries. Don't worry about that. I won't hold it against you. Don't worry.
Called worse.
Yeah, absolutely. I could have been called a lot worse than that, yeah. But don't worry about that at all. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on, and see you next time. It's adios for
Okay.
now.